Take me home to the banks of the River Tyne. Take me home to the places I call mine. It's a place I love best, 'cause it's better than the rest. Take me home to the banks of the River Tyne. Take me home to the banks of the River Tyne. Take me home to the place that I call mine. It's a place I love best. Yes, it's better than the rest. Take me home to the banks of the River Tyne.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. مساء الخير جميعا، أهلا بكم في نيوكاسل مع وليد. اليوم الوليد and Dave show. Welcome lads and lasses to our show tonight. We have plenty of stuff to talk about. Welcome COVID Dave this time. How are you doing, mate?
Assalamu alaikum. I'm okay. I'm not. I know I'm not 100%, but I'm okay. I'm not as bad as what some people are like with COVID. But you know, this is the third time I've had it, so getting used to it now. Just like having a cold. Just a bit bunged up, but I'm feeling well. But I just staying
actually-
home, isolating.
Good guy. Actually, I want to thank Dave. I try to, please, Dave, take a vacation. No need to do the show. Just take a rest. He insists to come, and I really respect that. Thank you, Dave. So we have plenty of topics, and we'll join by Abdulrahman, who visited Newcastle at the moment. Before we start with the first topic, Dave, I know Abdulrahman now he's in the train, and he will join us soon. Did you meet Abdulrahman? Where did you go?
Yeah, we met Abdulrahman on Saturday before the match. You know, I knew he was in Newcastle, but unfortunately, I couldn't spend much time as I was able to when you came to Newcastle. But I did say that I'd meet him before the game, just before he went into the ground. So, and I invited him to come along to the Strawberry, just so he could have a look around the Strawberry and about get a feel for the match, and you know, get an idea of the heritage of, you know, what Newcastle supporters actually enjoy about going to the match, and show them all the pictures and everything on the walls. And you know, he was really impressed. He was really taken aback, and he was actually loving it. You know, you could see he was actually he was happy, he was smiley. And while we were there, we met Brian Johnson, who often comes on our show, and he was having a laugh and joke on as well. And we're having a good chat with Abdulrahman, and I think he had a good time. You know, it was good.
Yeah, thank you for showing him around and taking care of our friend Abdulrahman, and he will joining us soon. So, okay, Southampton game. Everybody excited for the game tomorrow. We have 3 games in 8 days, and for Southampton, it's. I still remember. Did you remember the game under the rain last season? 3-2 with 8 players, I think.
Yeah.
For Newcastle.
Yeah, but
What do you think will happen tomorrow?
You know what is tomorrow? Southampton are the draw specialists at home this year, so I would expect us to get at least a draw tomorrow. And I'd be happy with a draw tomorrow. Very happy with a draw. Because Southampton are playing quite well at the moment. And Abdulrahman and me met Tom at the food bank. So hi Tom, before the game as well. So yeah, I think Southampton, you know, it's interesting that we will have all our players available, despite what Ralph Hasenhüttl didn't want us to be allowed to play our new players.
Yeah, Mitch, Dr. Mitchell just say now I want all the 4 players on the field, and even Kieran Trippier wave on the bench, waving to Ralph
crutches.
every 5 minutes.
Yeah, we have these crutches every 5 minutes exactly. Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting game. Let's put it that way. But a draw, I'll be happy with a draw. And I think Chris Wood might be the man to get with a goal.
For me, I will not be happy with the draw. I want to. I want to win.
I know you want. We all want to win. We all want to win, Aleid. But you know, let's not be too greedy. Let's just at the minute. Let's just take it slowly.
It's not greedy, Dave. It's just why not? We win. I think we win over tougher game. I think Aston Villa is more difficult than Southampton.
Yeah.
Aston Villa just beat Southampton 4-0.
Yeah. So, but I mean, let's look at it this way. Southampton are expecting 2 or 3 of their players who are missing against Aston Villa to be back playing. And I do honestly think that, some of them players, Bednarak will be playing, but they've got Walker Peters is due back, and they've got other players who are due back as well.
Ward-Prowse, I think he's the most dangerous one.
Ward-Prowse?
Adams, maybe Adams, but I think now our defense is much better than before, so not really worried.
Yeah. I wish I had your confidence. Let's be honest. Southampton are playing well at the moment. They've beaten teams like Man United. They're playing well.
I think they draw.
They've had a game against Aston Villa where they got absolutely turned over.
I think the good game for them when they beat Tottenham in February. 3-2 at London.
Yeah. At Tottenham's ground. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're a team you can't underestimate. So let's give them their due. Let's go there, take a point, and gradually make sure we can secure our Premier League status. I'm not worried about the arguments with Hasenhüttl about players being allowed to play, players not being allowed to play. The man was a fool, what he said,
I think. Do you think, Dave? He just playing games. It's like teasing the team, because what he asking is totally nonsense.
No, I don't think so. I think he was being rather nasty and snide, because we'd had to take over. We bought a lot of players.
Yeah, but Dave, this has never happened anywhere. Because postpone, we bring the player before, the older player. Doesn't make any sense.
No, and that's why I think it's been a deliberate case of winding Newcastle up, not just winding the manager up, winding the players up, winding everybody up. With stupid comments like, they shouldn't be allowed to play their players that they've bought in the transfer. That's idiotic. That we had a COVID situation, and I'm happy to say, COVID's not nice. But we had players who were down with COVID. We had players who were injured. We could not field a full squad, full team.
I remember. Sorry to interrupt. I just remember. In George's There show, and just a few minutes ago, George Mitchell said something that we should also, for Ralph, Southampton coach, we should also bring back the cautions and instruction of COVID 2 months or 3 months ago, to put it again.
Yes.
As well, it's really a lot of jokes about this. Really, it's funny.
Yeah, a silly thing to say. Yeah, there's Brian. Hi, Brian. Yes. He'd come back to the strawberry. He disappeared somewhere, and then I don't know where he went.
Everybody disappeared in Strawberry.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like I say, I had to take Abdulrahman along to the food bank because hopefully we're going to meet Steve Hasty. But Steve wasn't there. But Abdulrahman met Keith Patterson. And Keith was there. So and Tom and a few others and Bill Corcoran. And then I took Abdulrahman up to the ground for him to go into the ground. So he had plenty of time to get in and get his seat and that. So I hope he enjoyed. I know he enjoyed the day. He said he did because and then he went and he did a stadium tour on the Sunday as well.
Yeah. I was following him on Twitter. He posted a lot of stuff. Dave, away from Ralph, let's talk about Eddie Howe conference today. Have you catch it?
Yes, I've watched it. I've watched these.
What do you think? Most interesting thing he said, in your opinion?
The two things I picked up on were the fact that first off that Chris Wood isn't. He's got no intention of dropping Chris Wood for the Southampton game because it gives us something different. Even though he hasn't scored yet, he's still quite happy with playing Chris Wood. And I think he's right in doing that. Because I think he gives us an option against Southampton that we wouldn't have otherwise. If Callum Wilson had been fit, yes, I would have played Wilson. I would probably played Wilson instead of Chris Wood.
Do you think Eddie Howe will do this if Wilson ready? Because one of my friends went to ask Eddie Howe this question.
Yeah, I think once Callum Wilson's fit and ready, I think yes, there's a good chance that he will play. He will move that team around a bit because he's going to have that option. But while we've only got one fit striker, let's play with that one fit striker. And what he also said, which I picked up on, was that Bruno will probably start in one of the games, whether on Thursday or on Saturday, because we've got so many games that he's going to have to rest some of his players. And there is a chance for someone like Bruno to come in. But what was interesting, what he said was that yes, Bruno has been a bit frustrated that he hasn't started a game yet. But Eddie Howe, what he said was, we've got a team that are winning and playing well. You don't change that, And what happens when Bruno gets his chance? He's got to show that he's as good to keep himself in the team and not be dropped. So I would think that to me sounds like Bruno is going to start tomorrow. If he doesn't start tomorrow, then he'll start against Arsenal or Chelsea or Everton. There's that many games coming up. He'll get his start sooner or later. So
Dave, do you feel like what I feel regarding? I think the other teams now, when we play against Newcastle, they are lost. They didn't know how to play against Newcastle. Eddie Howe. It's like they are using to play against Steve Bruce, but with Newcastle, it's like now having a new identity.
Yeah, you're right. We do have a new identity, but sooner or later, somebody's going to catch on to how we play. But I think where we've got that magic is that we can bring in Maxi. Maxi has got a good chance of playing on tomorrow night.
But he said not fit. He said
he's still not 100% fit. So Maxi might start, but he might be on the bench. But the thing is, if you can bring someone like Maxi on, and you've got somebody like Joe Linton, you can't actually guess how they're going to play. Joe Linton's a completely different player than what he was at the start of the season, and he works so hard in midfield, and I think he gives Maxi that freedom to play Maxi's normal game. So whether it's Maxi or whether it's Bruno, I think we'll have too much for some teams still.
Dave, Eddie Howe saying he's not fit regarding Maxi, but he play him 30 minutes.
He's not 100% fit.
But how you are? But it's weird to maybe not fit to play from starting lineup.
Yeah.
Okay. Not as a substitution. Okay.
Yeah. All
right. Trippier with True Geordie. Have you watched this?
Yes.
Dave?
Yeah.
I watched it 2 days ago, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
What do you think of this interview?
It was.
What did you notice?
I think Kieran was a bit. He was very honest about what he was saying. He was talking about the other players around him, about when he came to join the club. He didn't come. He didn't join for the money. He likes to go out. He came here with his wife and his kids. That was his first thought, and it was the right move for him. And that he enjoyed himself so much at Atletico that it was hard for him to leave, but he knew it was, after speaking to my dad, it was the right decision. And he's very much from what I picked up, he's very much in tune with the way the owners are wanting to take the club. So he's very happy with that, and he's happy with. He was talking about Maxi. He says, he said, a bloke. You don't know what he's going to do. And I mean, True Geordie was actually comparing Maxi to Faustino Asprilla, and he was right. And if your own players like Trippier, he's world class, and that's what's coming across. If he can see it in his own teammates, Maxi being a mercurial genius, that's he says, I just let him get on with it, give him the ball and let him get on with it, try and tackle him. It's impossible to try and tackle him. We might as well have two balls on the pitch when Maxi's on the pitch. One for him and one for the rest of us. But
I want to ask about True Geordie as himself. He live in Newcastle.
He used to.
He
doesn't live in Newcastle anymore. I think he lives down south now. He became.
Where?
He's got. Oh, I don't know where now. I think.
Why I'm asking? Because I remember, during before the takeover, when we are asking for transparency and stuff. I remember a lot of asking about True Geordie to talk about takeover, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, he didn't. He's avoiding participating in that. If I could recall.
I go back to True Geordie from 2 years ago and stuff like that. He was always one for the takeover. Yes, he didn't. He wasn't as vocal as what we were on matters or Unloaded.
Yeah, why you think? Is it because some business or maybe?
No, I just think I know for a fact he had a lot of issues a year ago. He lost everything. And I remember he's going through his story, and he's now on the up again, and I think he's had a lot of his own problems to concentrate on. So I think getting wound up with all the bother with the takeover might have been a bit too much. I do know that from the way he used to come on, that he was very for the takeover, and he was like the rest of us. He wanted Newcastle to be the best of the best, and if that meant we had some new owners, that was brilliant. Because his heart's in the right place, and he's a very, very kind bloke. I've never met him personally, but he's now one of the biggest YouTube stars, certainly around football, because his podcast isn't just about Newcastle.
Yeah,
His
a lot of
podcast,
stuff, yes.
he's got a lot of stuff about other football teams, and he gets a lot of guests in. So
And it's interesting to bring a Trippier, who I noticed also, when I watch the show, he have huge respect about Simeone.
yes,
And I think he want to be a coach because of Simeone.
yeah,
He really like his way of training.
I think he did say that he would like to go back. He would like to go back to Atleti and work under Simeone as a coach. I think that might be him in the future, but I think it's certainly not in the next 5 years. And who knows? Simeone might come to Newcastle. If Eddie goes to manage England, we'll get Simeone to manage Newcastle.
There is a rumor maybe he will go for England. Eddie Howe.
Wait, there's always rumors like that. He's an English
Well,
manager.
why not? Why not?
He's a young English manager. Why not? Exactly, why not? Because Gareth Southgate won't be there after possibly this World Cup.
Yeah.
That to me, if Southgate's there for the World Cup and he's there for the next European Championships, might be, and then after that, who knows?
To be honest, Dave, from this interview, I loved Simeone more.
Yeah.
Really, he said, really, he make me the player I am now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very interesting.
You could see that. He says, you go to somewhere like Atletico to learn the game, and when you've got a World Cup winner like Simeone, you're listening to him, Argentinian legend, and then he can bring in players like Luis Suarez, players like that. He was like, players like Suarez wanted to play for Simeone. It's a magnificent thing for Trippier to be there, but he's now at another football club where he's got other world-class players and another world-class manager, and I think he likens Eddie Howe's style to Simeone's style. That he likes the way they play and how they motivate players.
Yes, and he said he cared about the substitution player maybe more than the first team regarding Simeone. And this is what makes him special, and we respect it over there. Very interested, and I advise who didn't watch that interview to watch it. And now let's move to big question or big concern, and please, Dave, tell us anything about it, because I received this question a lot. All right. Jamie Robin said to consider bid for Chelsea Football Club, Bloomberg. Any truth in that, Dave?
Nah, none. No.
And he want to sell to 10% to maybe someone in the family, so he can.
It's not his 10%. It's the Reuben brothers, and he's not the Reuben brothers.
So why this news came? Why?
Why? Because everybody was putting bids in for Chelsea. There's absolutely loads of bids got in for them.
That's misunderstanding, because you are right. The Reuben brothers, they have the 10%, not Jamie Robin.
Not Jamie. Jamie is acting on their behalf.
But someone let's say if he working on their behalf, he can invest in Chelsea while he is in Newcastle.
Yeah, because he's not invested in Newcastle.
But he have a position in Newcastle.
He has a position in Newcastle, but he can't. He's not. He hasn't. He has a position in Newcastle.
But isn't it that conflict of interest?
But that would. If he was to put a bid in for Chelsea, then he'd have to give that position up because of the conflict of interest. But he's not. Let's not get this wrong. He is not a shareholder. The Reuben brothers are the shareholders, alongside Amanda and Mirdad. Is PCP. Jamie might have something. If he's got any shareholding, he'll have to sell it. But to me, it's just one of these stories that are going round left, right, and centre. The number of people who were putting bids in for Chelsea, some Iranian businessmen who nobody'd ever even heard of. Again, just stuff that's getting made up left, right, and centre by the press. The thing is, as well, if Abramovich gets sanctioned, at the minute he hasn't been sanctioned, but if his assets are frozen, then he can't sell Chelsea. He can't sell Chelsea. His assets will be frozen. And
what is going on?
So at the minute, he still hasn't been sanctioned properly yet. So his asset is Chelsea Football Club. He will not be allowed to sell Chelsea Football Club. Those assets will be frozen. He's not going to be allowed to make money. He's not going to be allowed to make money.
Is it away from Newcastle? Is it end of Chelsea? Is it gonna be, it's like some duration going down?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think Chelsea will attract another billionaire owner.
Yeah, but it's not about billionaire owner. We have Mike Ashley, for example. I noticed Saudi fans, or of Chelsea, they said we don't want American owner caring for investment only.
Yeah. No, the thing is with Chelsea, I think they will get another big billionaire owner, whether he's American, Iranian, whether he's from one of the other oil-rich states. I don't know. But really, I'm not bothered about Chelsea. I think Jamie will still be at Newcastle well into the future. In his role is acting on behalf of his family. He won't be going anywhere. I think he himself sees the big picture as well. Newcastle are going to be one of the biggest teams in the world.
Yes.
Why would you want to move to a cheap Chelsea, cheap team in London? Because that's all Chelsea are.
Okay. All right. That's a great opinion, Dave. Still in Chelsea, would you take him, Dave? Free transfer.
Free transfer, yes, but I wouldn't buy him.
No, because he will end of contract this summer.
Yeah, well, his contract up, but I can't see him being allowed to leave for nothing.
No, there is no. It's like only his salary transfer. There is no price to bring him. No money for Chelsea to take him. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
And they can't Chelsea sell him. No, he will just. Yeah.
There'll be a big signing on fee. But do you not think he'll go to Germany? I think that's where he'll go back to.
Yeah, but he's almost 30, and I believe his argument with the Chelsea is financial. He's looking for last contract in his career. Yeah, so I don't think Real Madrid or any team in Germany, as you said, can pay him what he wants.
Yeah, no, but do we want to be buying players who are only looking for a payday? You know, Trippier's come across and he said he's not coming for a payday. I don't want to sign players who come for a payday.
All right, but he's worth it. Yani, he playing very good.
Wait,
Not just taking money and sleep on it.
Yeah,
He
but
really work hard, play hard.
recently he's been playing well, but the start of the season he wasn't playing very well. You know, the start of the season he wasn't playing very well, but now he is. He was on the verge of being dropped, and then he suddenly kicked into gear, and he's now playing well again.
Actually, I didn't remember him first.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of rumors going around that Rudiger was going to be dropped and he was going to be left out of the team. So no, I think he's a good player, but I don't want any of those payday mercenaries anymore. Newcastle were always one of those teams. We always bought somebody because they wanted the last minute pay deal. You had Ian Rush's and you had John Barnes's. They're keeping Newcastle for a payday. Don't want them anymore. I want to buy the best at the youngest age.
Okay, so Botman or Rodriguez?
Botman. It's Rudiger. Not Rodriguez.
Rudiger. No, I noticed Stuart Binman today pronounced Joelinton right in the right. I couldn't do like what he said. Joelinton. Okay.
Yeah. But
I guess you are right when you're talking about Everton here. Tom Dixon saying talking about Everton, they are really struggling.
Yeah.
And they have maybe 3-point deduction, which I want to ask you why this is coming now.
Because
the deduction. We know the problem with fair play, but
it's not fair play. It's not fair play. It's not fair play. It's the fact is that for the third year in a row, they are expecting to post debts of over 100 million pounds, which is against the rules of the Premier League.
And this is just appear now.
It started. It was mentioned 2 years ago, and it's been in place now for a full 2 seasons. And they were warned at the end of last season that they were struggling against financial fair play, which they were suspended from buying players for a while, and then that Mashiri bloke came in, and when he came in, he bought some shares, which meant the transfer ban was lifted, but they were warned that if your debts go over 100 million pound again this season, you will face a deduction in points, because that debt. They're not. What they're trying to say is that because of the COVID situation and games being stopped, is that they couldn't generate enough income. So they were relying too much, their debts were too high, wage bills and all that sort of stuff, which is why they tried to why Benitez was only signing loan players, because he couldn't afford to have money going out of the club. So it's all to do with that debt, not to do with the financial fair play.
I understand now.
Two separate things, but it still carries a points deduction. At least 3 points. At least 3 points. Let's not get that. It's not only 3 points. It's at least 3 points. It could be more.
At least 3.
So
upon what this? Who decide and why? How many points?
Richard Masters.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because if it's more, if it's more than 3, I think definitely they will be
Yeah, but
relegated.
what you've got to understand, our lead, is there's a lot of football teams at the moment whose debts are so big, are so large, and they've got
So
no
not
way of paying them
not
back.
just Everton.
No, I mean, you've seen what's happened to Derby County. I mean, they were one of the biggest teams in England for one time. You know, they haven't got a penny to their name, and Everton have been living off. Well, I couldn't even see what they've been living off, but because they're not a successful team, they haven't got a very big support. They've got a very poor support, and they spend a lot of money. But then, and there's other teams who would think, hey, hang on, we got deducted 3 points. We got deducted. Leeds United, when Leeds United won the Premiership, Leeds United's debt was so high, they got deducted, I think, 21 points. And they ended up in Division 3. Leeds United did. So teams like that will not be very happy if a team like Everton gets let off. Other teams, can you imagine if Everton finish on the same points as Burnley and Burnley get relegated on goal difference?
Yeah,
because of a goal scored by a player that Everton bought when they shouldn't have had any money.
But Dave, isn't it COVID situation getting Everton side?
Yes, that's their saving grace. That's what might save them from getting the points deduction. But they've got to argue their case. It's not just going to say, well, COVID did this and COVID did that, because a lot of other teams were in exactly the same position. And Newcastle, we made a profit. We made money during COVID.
Mike Ashley
exactly did anyway.
Right.
So it's not always a guarantee.
All right, we have here. What's the latest for this, Dave? Miles star fourth.
Yeah.
Newcastle considering another warm weather training camp after a gap opened up in the club fixture list. And for me, it's kind of weird. Last time Craig Hope called bring the breaking, and now it's Miles star fourth. How it's weird how they got this different journalists who got this news and this exclusive. So they're talking about Dubai, and what do you hear about it, Dave?
I've heard exactly what you've heard, our lead.
I know, but I want more.
Yeah, but there's nothing more.
You are Newcastle. You should bring me more, Dave.
Yes, but unfortunately, this is one of these stories that it comes out, but then nobody talks about it because they'll just turn around as what they did with the Saudi game. They said that we don't know anything about it, and it wasn't until 2 weeks beforehand that it was definitely confirmed we were going to go to Saudi Arabia. So if it does come off, we'll not hear about it for another week or two yet.
What do you think, this will happen or not?
I don't see why they would have to go to Dubai. To me, a lot of times, English Premier League teams would go to La Manga in Spain.
Portugal.
Yeah, and that's they go. And that has a lot of English teams go there. They do warm weather training in Spain.
For me, I don't see any reason to go to Dubai.
Well, the only reason I can see, I will lead, is that
to be away.
No, I think it's to try and they're trying to make Newcastle a big name within the Middle East, and you've got to take those opportunities. If there's an opportunity there to take us to, whether it's Dubai, Jeddah, whether it's to Bahrain.
Yeah, Dave, you are right.
As long as you don't go to Qatar.
No, even with to Qatar now we are very good friends. But Dave, what you said is totally makes sense. But when I saw the experiment in Jeddah and the darkness where the team were and the security, and it doesn't seem they want to do some advertisement. Wasn't on the list because it was hush hush. And what will make a difference in Dubai? They will continue in hush hush, for team's sake benefit. So
I don't know. Maybe Mitch has got them signed up because Mitch works in Dubai, so maybe Mitch and Penman have actually organised it. But no, you're right. It was hush hush when it went to Saudi, and the whole reason why it was hush hush was because of the political rubbish that had been going on. And I think they didn't want to be stirring the pot while they were out in Saudi, even though we class ourselves as now a Saudi team, you know what I mean?
Okay. Do you think in Dubai it will be different?
Yeah, I think if it went in Dubai, it would be different. It'd be a lot more open. We're not far from Saudi. So people like you can jump on a plane and be there in a couple of hours. But if it goes to Dubai, then that's my only reason I can see it go to Dubai as being for a publicity thing. Because to me, it would make more sense if they went to La Manga or somewhere like that in Spain, did warm weather training in Spain, but even then, when we've done La Manga and when we've been to warm weather training before, it's always been closed doors. It's never been open. Not like Man United or Real Madrid, where they go abroad and you've got hundreds of fans, thousands of fans waiting to see them. We've had that atmosphere before when we've gone away to a warm weather training, and it's just all been locked up.
Do you think it's maybe have something related to Manchester City? Because Amanda Civilly in the business forum a couple of days ago she was talking about that she was amazed by under structure of Manchester City. Do you think this is one of the reasons maybe to?
No. If we're going to do that, then why would we be owned by a Saudi Arabian organization? You want to go to Saudi, you want to go to Riyadh, and you want to have the team be viewed by our own supporters, not by supporters in the Emirates, So no, I don't think that's the reason. I think it's solely at the moment paper talk.
But they mentioned Dubai in particular, so maybe some truth in it. We'll see. And I'm not really sure if I go or not. We'll see about that.
If I hear anything more, I'll let you know. As soon as I hear anything, I'll let you know.
Yeah, because you are in Newcastle. You are in Newcastle. You should know more, Dave. Okay. So here, this is a topic we are going to talk about in Saudi Toon Show on Sunday with the lads Abdulrahman and Yahya. But I will ask Dave about it. What do you think of Daily Mail news? I think maybe by Craig Hope that the club want to get rid of 7 players: Darlow, Jamal Lewis, Hayden, Gale, Clark, Kraft, Almiron. What do you think of this news, and why now? Do you think this is maybe affecting the team spirit? Why these kind of news appear now? Is it just rubbish, media rubbish?
Yeah, it's just media rubbish.
Speculation.
But it'll be yeah. I mean, you've got to look at the fact that you've got to look at players like Kraft. Yes, I think he could be one of the players to go. You've got to look at Jamal Lewis. Jamal Lewis is went for an operation tomorrow. So we're expecting him to be back. And Jamal Lewis has got a lot to offer. So no, I don't think Jamal Lewis will be going either. I think Jamal Lewis will stay. Yes, there's going to be other players go. Kieran Clark will probably go.
Yeah,
No,
so and it's
players will go.
yeah, but the names mentioned make sense. They will go. So I don't think the club announced, but maybe they figure that there wasn't been talks with them. Maybe players. Maybe I'm just saying maybe.
Yeah, but
Well,
you're also,
maybe some players leak, their agent leaks some
Yes.
leaks this to pressure on the team to sign the player or recontract them. Maybe.
plus it puts them in the window to alert other teams. We know
Yeah.
that Miggy isn't very happy about being on the bench all the time, and he wanted to
Yeah.
leave. He wanted to leave 2 seasons ago, a season and a half ago under Steve Bruce. So yes, Miggy might go because his position's under threat with Bruno. We're also talking about Diego Carlos coming. We're talking about Botman. We're talking about Etike. There's three world-class players we're talking about there. So there's 3 world-class players we're talking about bringing in. So you've got to move players on. You can only have a squad of 25, and you can't keep everybody happy. So yes, there's going to be players, and those players who are on the fringes will be the players to go.
But it's a wrong timing now, Andy. This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but we've got to start the negotiations, haven't we, before the summer transfer window opens in 2 months' time. You know, at the end of May, 1st of June when the transfer window opens. You know, it's not long away, so players would want to be looking to move on. Players will also want to move on because they want to play in the World Cup, and they don't want to not have game time. So there's all that coming through. So it's early speculation, very early speculation. We don't know what's going to happen, when it's going to happen. We don't know who's going to go. We don't know who. Wait, Eddie Howe's press conference today was singing the praises of John Joe Shelby and how John Joe Shelby, he's already said he's not going anywhere. He likes what John Joe gives him. John Joe works hard in midfield, you know.
Yeah,
so,
and I remember at first Eddie Howe, when he took the team, he was impressed by Shelby, and he said he was difficult player to play against when he was in Bournemouth, and he have admiring of the player, which he's now more improved, much more improved. More confident, more stamina. Yeah, so really excited about the game tomorrow. So your expectation, let's finish with this part. Expectation of the result, Dave, and who's the player from Southampton you are afraid of?
Like I said, Newcastle will get at least a 1-1 draw tomorrow. They'll come away with a point, at least a point. I don't think we'll get beat. But yeah, my bogey player is Ward Prowse. Ward Prowse is he's a gifted player. He's a really, really gifted player. Now, if we want to spend some money in the summer, there's a player that I think we should look to buy.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
You know, I think he's a player that we should look to buy. He's a fantastic player. And the fact he's such a good dead ball, he's great at free kicks.
Oh, amazing.
I think that's what we're going to watch for tomorrow. Do not give any free kicks away outside the end of the box.
Been saying an expectation Joelinton will mark him. Hopefully Joelinton will not make mistake against him.
No.
Your result, so do you think 1-1?
1-1.
1-1.
1-1. You?
3-2 Newcastle.
3-2 Newcastle. All right, okay.
Yes.
I think it's a that wouldn't be something I would bet on. Not that
much. We really wanted Abdulrahman to join us, but I think he's struggled maybe with the signal or the
Yeah.
place, and unfortunately, we would like really to have him, but maybe we'll compensate with another show later with Abdulrahman, maybe tomorrow. Now we are gonna have a show in Arabic with Coach Abdul Khaliq Al Garni. Looking for the photo. I lost the photo. We'll have Coach Abdul Khaliq Al Garni in a few minutes in Arabic show. Please joining us. And surprisingly, speaking of the devil, عبد الرحمن اهلا فيك عبد الرحمن. احنا على ختام الحلقه بس بنزود 5 دقائق عشانك.
حبيبي الله يرضى عليك.
Last minute substitution.
Yes. How's your experience, Abdulrahman, in Newcastle? Tell us about it.
I have only one word: fantastic. The city was great. The weather, the game, the stadium, Dave, Strawberry, everything.
Dave Strawberry.
I have nothing. I have nothing more to say. Definitely, I will come back. I will visit the city again because it makes me feel like I am in home. When I am in the match, I get the feeling that this is my team. This is my land. Definitely, I need to be here.
Good lad. Good lad.
What's your expectation for the game tomorrow, Abdulrahman?
For tomorrow, I believe it will be 2-1 for Newcastle, and inshallah we will win.
Yes.
Have you managed to go to the game?
Which game?
Southampton.
Yes, I got ticket today from one of the mates in Newcastle. I get Southampton ticket. So tomorrow, inshallah, I will take the train to Southampton.
Southampton, is it near Brighton or no?
It is far away from London, around 1 hour 40 minutes.
Yes, but it's also not very far from Southampton. So please make sure you're back on the train in time to get back to London.
I know you brought it up. I know.
Don't do an hour lead and get left in Southampton because you don't.
A mistake. I will never forget.
Yeah.
I will not do that for sure.
Good lad.
طبعا عبد الرحمن يعني نشكرك على الدقائق القصيرة هذه، لكن احنا الحين مشكلة مرتبطين في برنامج آخر. We would like to thank you Dave for the show and for quick joining by عبد الرحمن, and hopefully you have a great time in Southampton and you have another 3 points. Watch us in a few minutes with Coach Abdul Khaliq in Arabic show talking tactics with the coach about the game tomorrow. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Abdulrahman. Thank you for watching.
Just 1 minute, وليد.
Sure, go ahead.
I'll be quick. Abdulrahman, it was nice to meet you on Saturday. I'm pleased that you enjoyed your stay. People that you met on Saturday, Tom Dixon and Brian Johnson, want to pass on their thanks for you coming as well. And well done, mate. And we hope we'll see you back in Newcastle sometime in the near future. All the best. Take care.
I really appreciate it, Dave. Thank you for your hospitality. And inshallah, I hope to meet you again in Newcastle.
Yes, definitely. You bring وليد with you next time.
Sure.
Yeah, hope for sure. And get well soon, Dave. Take care.
Yes, thank you very much. Cheers. Cheers, lads.
Okay.
Good
Have a
night.
good day, gentlemen.
Subhanallah khair.
Good night.